गणपतिं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनशृण्वन्नोतिभिर्सीदसादनम् ॐ श्रीमहागणाधिपतये नमः। ॐ वृषभं च शनीनां विश्वरूपमदाभ्यं बृहस्पतिं वरेण्यम् ॐ तद्विष्णोः परमं पदं सदा पश्यन्ति सूरयः दिवीव चक्षुराततम्। ॐ श्रीं ह्रीं ज्योतिर्ब्राह्मणाय नमः। ॐ हरे रामकृष्ण हरे रामकृष्ण हरे रामकृष्ण। ॐ पराशराय नमः। ॐ पराशराय नमः। ॐ पराशराय नमः। ॐ घृणिसूर्य आदित्य ॐ घृणिसूर्य आदित्य ॐ घृणिसूर्य आदित्य ॐ। So we'll see the chart that Seshu wanted us to see. He sent a mail from India. So the data is 1989 March 25. 1989 March 25. "4:54 a.m. Boston." Oh, it's a Boston chart. So Sikandrabad chart. Not a Sikandrabad chart like he thinks. So Boston chart sent from India.
He was actually here when he
sent it before you. I see. Because in the mail he said they came to me, so I was under the assumption that he sent it from India.
I think they came to the temple.
Came to the temple. Okay. Oh. Let me say
Raj.
So we'll just save it as RM. This is a chart called RM given by Seshu. Somebody who came to Seshu at the temple a few days back before he left for India. He is in coma or was in coma?
Still in coma.
Who is in coma for the last 60 plus days. His aunt approached me and I looked at the chart. I used Jyothishya and it looked gloomy to me. I did not see any immediate recovery and hence have not communicated to them yet without confirmation in class. Okay. So the thing is, this boy has been in a coma for around 60 plus days. In coma for 60 plus days in mid 2012. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to see is there any hope or any remedies that can be suggested. Basically, what do we expect given that he is in coma? So first let's not even look at any divisional charts. Let's just look at the Rashi chart, because if somebody is having such an important event in life, it has to obviously show in the Rashi chart. Let's make a prashna also.
You want to check the time when he sent out the email?
No, I'll make a prashna now. So the prashna is for 2012 August 20, 18:59:10. That is 6:59:10 p.m. 4 hours west of GMT, Dracut, Massachusetts, USA. 71 degree, 18 minutes, 9 seconds west. 42 degree, 40 minutes, 13 seconds north. Dracut, Massachusetts. And the birthplace was Boston, Mass. 71 degree, 3 minutes, 37 seconds west. 42 degree, 21 minutes, 30 seconds north. And 5 hours west of GMT is the time zone. March 25, 1989. 4:54 a.m.
Sir, what is the Prashna time, if you don't mind repeating?
The Prashna time is, the time we are taking is when it occurred to me to make a Prashna, that is 6:59:10 p.m.
Okay.
So, first of all in the Prashna, how is the Lagna? Lagna is Capricorn and Lagna Lord Saturn is in the 9th house. He is exalted in the 9th house. I mean, he is at 1 degree, Lagna is at 21 degree in Capricorn, so
10th house.
But the thing is, looking at the longitude, so 21 degree is the Lagna. So the 10th house will be starting at 21 minus 15. So approximately 6 degree in Capricorn. Sorry, Libra. 6 degree in Libra to 6 degree in Scorpio will be the 10th house.
Okay.
And Saturn is at around 1 degree in 114 Libra. So we will take him to be in the 9th house. So Lagna Lord is in the 9th house exalted. So, and the Lagna, what are the influences on Lagna? Naturally, the 9th Lord is affecting the Lagna. Okay?
Yes, sir. Jupiter.
And Mars is also affecting the Lagna. And the thing is, Jupiter has a very, very close aspect. Jupiter is at 19 and quarter degrees in Taurus. And Lagna is at 21 degree in Capricorn. So if you actually look at the quantification, Jupiter's aspect on Lagna is 96%. So nearly 100%. So Jupiter has a nearly close aspect on Lagna. So the aspect of Jupiter shows that basically what we want is, we want some influence of Jupiter on Lagna and we don't want any undesirable influences like Saturn, Rahu, Ketu, etc. So there is a strong influence of Jupiter. So basically we may get the answer from nature. We look at this chart now. So encouraged by that, we will look at the chart. So the Lagna is at around 90 degree Aquarius and Moon is at 1341 Libra. And if you look at the Dasha that is going on right now.
So, I'm getting a 1338.
1338 what?
I mean, Moon in Libra, you know. So, that should be matter or two of second? 1340.
1341 I'm getting, actually exactly 1340 36.35.
You're getting
With Jagannath Ainamsha. What Ainamsha are you using?
No, I always look for set up preferences by
Yeah.
author.
Just click Alt PCA. Alt PCA. Alt PCA. Jagannath Ainamsha, does it say?
Right, take another one.
And there is no correction at the bottom, right?
Right.
Okay. And the time you entered is 4:54 a.m.
Yes.
March 25, 1989.
Right.
And the place is Boston. Yeah, let me see. This is better. March 25, 1989, 4:54, 5, 71, 3, 37, 76, 42, 21, 30, 762. No, you are getting the same thing I am getting. 13, 40, 36.35.
38, right?
What?
The moon is
13, 40.
Yeah. No, the moon is in
13, 40. No, 36 is seconds.
30 seconds.
13, 40 is the minutes.
Okay. Oh, okay. I looked at wrong one then. I think 1336.
You ignore the minutes and you look at degrees and seconds.
Sorry.
Okay, no problem. Okay. Yeah. So if you use the same settings, you should get exactly same calculations. Depending on the CPU, depending on rounding, there may be a fractional like 0.001 half second difference. But practically,
I just missed a 40 somehow.
Yeah. That's what I was calling. Okay. So what is the Dasha he is running right now?
Right now, sir.
Yeah.
Jupiter Rahu, sir.
So Jupiter Dasha is running right now. Is Jupiter, okay, one second, let's conclude later, but let's look at the Dasha, Antardasha. The Antardasha is that of Rahu. So Jupiter Dasha, Rahu Antardasha is running. So is Jupiter a Maraka?
Second Lord.
He is the second Lord, joining the third Lord.
Third Lord.
So being the second Lord, he is a Maraka. And he is a functional name for the Aquarius Lagna. So overall Jupiter potentially can kill. But the thing is, what is the Antardasha running right now?
Rahu, sir.
The Antardasha is that of Rahu.
Lord.
And where is Rahu? He is the Lagna Lord. Is he exactly in Lagna? He is in Lagna.
Monday. Yes, sir.
So, Lagna Lord in Lagna, is he a Marka?
No, sir.
Not at all. He is not at all a Marka. So, that is the good news. Rahu is not a Marka. And secondly, how is Jupiter Rahu? The Rahu Antardasha within Jupiter Dasha, how is it?
Generally, it's not a good dasha, sir. Jupiter Rahu combination.
I mean, the Antardasha Lord and the Dasha Lord are not friends, so it's not really a great Antardasha. But, taking Jupiter as Lagna, that's what I mean. So, as Jupiter as Lagna, Rahu is the 10th Lord in the 10th house. Is it really, does it show serious illness or actually forget about illness, death, does it show death? Is he a Marka? He is not Marka from Lagna, but taking the Dasha Lord as Lagna, is Rahu a Marka that way? Not really. So, overall my feeling is, looking at just the Vimshottari Dasha, it does not seem to me like he is running a Marka Dasha. Marka Antardasha. Marka Dasha is running, but Marka Antardasha is not running. And how is the Gochara right now? Moon is at 30 degree Libra, right? And Mars is, Mars Saturn are transiting over Lagna. And Jupiter, Ketu are transiting over the 8th house. 8th house from Moon basically. Jupiter is in the 8th house from Moon. Now the bad thing is,
the Gochara, you said that Moon is in...
Moon is in Tula, right? So we take the Gochara from Libra.
I was getting a Virgo is, Moon is in... Maybe I took it 1859?
19, what? 1859?
At the time for the Gochara.
Oh, no, I'm not talking...
Oh, you're not talking the...
I'm talking about Gochara from natal moon.
Oh, natal moon.
We always see the Gochara transit from the natal moon, right?
Okay.
So natal moon is in Libra, and Gochara, right, you are right. You take current Gochara, currently Jupiter and Ketu are in the 8th house.
Okay.
So I was saying, the Janma Rashi is being transited by Shani and Kuja.
Okay.
Saturn and Mars are close to moon. Okay? And Jupiter is in the 8th house. So the thing is, this is the other thing. Instead of just looking at the Dasha and Antardasha, also look at the Gochara. Because Dasha Lord Gochara, Antardasha Lord Gochara, those are very crucial. So from Janma Rashi, Dasha Lord is in the 8th house. And Antardasha Lord is in second house. And being basically Rahu is supposed to be debilitated in the sign of Scorpio. So basically the Antardasha Lord is debilitated in the second house, a Marka house. And from the Dasha Lord Jupiter, he is in the 7th house. So that's not a good transit. Jupiter Rahu, Samsaptika is not good basically. So Dasha Lord and Antardasha Lord are not having good Gochara, good transit. So during this period when Jupiter is in Taurus, it can create problems. And in around Sankranti time, in the middle of January, Rahu will move away from Scorpio to Libra. Even though Janma Rahu is also not a great transit, it is better than, basically because we are talking about a death kind of situation, it is actually better. And more importantly, when Jupiter moves away from Taurus, there should be a better period. So bottom line is, what brought this is the long-term Gochara of the slow-moving planets, whose Dashas and Antardashas are running. So it doesn't seem like this is brought by a particular transit of, let's say, Mars or somebody, in my opinion. It is Saturn. He's running the 7.5 years of Saturn, and Dasha Lord Jupiter is in the 8th house, in an inimical sign, and that is his natal position also, by the way. So he is predisposed to giving really bad results during this period. And the Rahu Ketu are also along with him. So my feeling is, combining the Vimshottari Dasha and Gochara, it does not seem like miraculously something will happen now and he will take over from this. This may drag on for some more time. But the thing is, next year seems better when the Dasha Lord Jupiter is in the 9th house from Moon and also 5th house from Lagna.
But if you look at Rashi in general, the 7th Lord being in the 2nd house with the 8th Lord.
7th Lord being in the
2nd house with the 8th Lord.
With the 8th Lord, yeah. You want to see the overall, the longevity?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sure. So how are things looking?
Next period will be Saturn, sir.
Yeah.
Saturn is the Lagna Lord, I mean, the co-Lagna Lord.
Yeah. So the thing is, the Jupiter Dasha that is running right now is a killer Dasha, which is for another year, still more than a year. After the Saturn will come. And that seems
Better. Much
better.
than
So my, looking at the Dashas, my gut feeling is right now situation doesn't seem very conducive, and some puja, some remedies can be done for Jupiter and also Saturn. The 7.5 years of Saturn and also Jupiter in the Dasha Lord Jupiter in the 8th house. If those two can be done, and yeah, we will come to that. If things can be dragged for, let's say, about a year, or I'm not sure when Jupiter will change, probably next April,
2013, 10th month.
Oh, October, no, I'm saying Jupiter transiting to Gemini. If you click on Jupiter and say, when will Jupiter change sign in Raki, it says 283 days. So approximately 283 means 270 plus 13. So 9.5 months.
10 months,
Approximately 10 months from now. So we are in August. So basically June, beginning of June, end of May, beginning of June next year. So towards the fag end of the Jupiter Dasha, when Jupiter moves to the 9th house from Moon and also 5th house from Lagna, they can be a fortunate development relating to his health. So then there is some hope. So the bottom line is, this may drag on for a while, so it's a good idea to prepare themselves for some more waiting. And what can they do about this? The main thing is, 7.5 years of Saturn is running, and the Dasha Lord is transiting the 8th house. So for Jupiter and Saturn. So one thing I can suggest is Mrityunjay Home can be suggested. And also for 7.5 years of Saturn, either Hanuman Chalisa or Rudra Namakam. They can be chanted, Hanuman Chalisa or Rudra Namakam. And in addition, because Jupiter is also involved, it's not a bad idea to just do Jupiter mantra. Om Brahaspati Adi Daryo mantra. So do Jupiter mantra, do Rudra Namakam or Hanuman Chalisa and Mrityunjay mantra. This is what I will suggest. But overall, my gut feeling is he may survive and he may actually come out of this, maybe around a year from now. And looking at the Prashna now, let's go back to the Prashna. So if you see the Prashna, usually you conclude about the nature of the Prashna from the Lagna and Lagna Lord. So if you see the Lagna, what are the influences on Lagna?
Mercury.
Yeah, Mercury has an aspect on Lagna, very close aspect.
Saturn. Jupiter and Saturn.
Yeah, Jupiter and Saturn. Saturn of course is Lord, but Jupiter is aspecting, Mars is also aspecting. Mars is the 4th and 11th Lord, he is the Bhavata Lord. Jupiter is the 12th Lord of hospitalization and he is under Rahu Ketu influence. So Jupiter is the 12th Lord of hospitalization, and Jupiter is, though the 9th Lord, he is also the 6th Lord. So 6th Lord is aspecting Lagna, the 12th Lord is aspecting Lagna. So based on these, it can be relating to a health issue or hospitalization.
Jupiter is it's not a 6th Lord, right? It's not.
No, I said Mercury is the 6th Lord. Mercury is the 6th Lord aspecting Lagna, and Jupiter is the 12th Lord aspecting Lagna. So both the 6th and 12th Lords are aspecting the Lagna. So, and apart from that, but if you look at the strength of Lagna, Lagna Lord is in a trine and he is exalted, right? And even though Jupiter is a functional malefic, Jupiter's aspect on Lagna is always considered to be a blessing. And Mercury, though he is the 6th Lord, he is also the 9th Lord. So 9th Lord's aspect on Lagna shows blessings from gods and fortune. And Lagna Lord is in the 9th house. So overall, my feeling is that the Prashna is also not really showing disastrous things. The Prashna also shows that he may survive. But the planet involved is Mercury. So Mercury shows a few months.
What Lagna you have in the
Capricorn.
Right, but Lagna Lord is in it's not in the 9th house, right?
This is what we discussed at the beginning, based on longitude. Lagna is at 21 degree and Saturn is at 1 degree in Libra. So that is closer to 21 degree in Virgo than 21 degree in
Yeah, I missed that discussion.
Yeah. Because you were looking at the longitude and you were distracted by that longitude discrepancy. Anyway, so the thing is, if it is like if a planet like Moon is showing good results in the plasma, it will happen very quickly. If a planet like Mercury or Venus, basically Moon can give a good result within a few days, like within a month. And Mercury, Sun, these planets, Venus, they may take a few months, let's say up to a year, because Sun cycle and Mercury cycle, Venus cycle is basically a year, and Mars cycle is 1.5 years, whereas Moon cycle is 30 days. So everybody has their own cycle. So Mercury usually gives results in a month or a few months period, but Saturn is also involved. The two planets who are showing auspicious things here is the ninth lord aspecting Lagna and Lagna lord in the ninth house. These are the two that show blessings. And Saturn shows very slow results, taking a long time, years. And Mercury shows within a couple of 2 3 months like that. So combining both are really important influences on Lagna. Combining both of them, we can probably say of an order of year, couple of years like that. So bottom line is this may take more time, and then just do some remedies and wait patiently. Any other comments, questions, observations?
I was actually looking at his overall health, sir. When Mercury comes, how it is, and this is going into it.
Mm-hmm. Let's also look at D30, by the way, because that will be interesting. Right. Trimshamsa.
Moon Venus started, sir, very recently.
Yeah. So, are there any weaknesses in the D30? Based on D30, the Dasha running right now is that of
Moon Venus.
Moon Dasha, Venus Antardasha.
And second house.
Yeah.
Second house Dasha.
But probably this happened in Moon Ketu. Recently Moon Venus started, but during Moon Ketu the event happened. So is there any, how do you see Moon Ketu? See, Moon is second lord in the 7th house. So second lord in the 7th house is classically a Marka. Good thing is he is in a friendly sign, Agmitra Rashi. So that's the blessing. Otherwise Moon is really eclipsed by Rahu Ketu and also Shani aspects him. Right? If you look at D30 Moon, Saturn also aspects him. And why Saturn is important? He is the 8th lord. And Ketu is the 6th lord. So 6th and 8th lords have an influence on Moon. Okay? So Moon is under 6th and 8th lord influences, and moreover, apart from the influences, he himself is a Maraka. And if you look at the longitudes, Moon is at 20 degree in Sagittarius, Saturn is at 17 degree in Gemini, 16.5 Gemini, and Rahu Ketu are at 25 degrees in Sagittarius. So Rahu Ketu are very close to Moon, and Saturn is also closely aspecting Moon. So that influence of Saturn and Ketu is not really auspicious on Moon. So, and his Dasha is running. He is the Maraka. And Venus is the Antardasha running. And from Dasha Lord Moon, Venus is the 6th Lord.
6th Lord, sir.
He is the 6th Lord.
Lord.
Yeah. And one more thing is, we discussed long back the concept of a planet becoming stationary. When a planet is really stationary, it can trigger major events in life. If it is either conjoining or aspecting some sensitive positions in the natal divisional charts. Right? For example, let's say when Saturn or Jupiter is, let's say, stationary very close to the 9th lord in D10. There can be some fortunate development in that area. Or let's say 8th lord in D10. Then they are very close to that position stationary, then that can trigger some setbacks in career. Like that we have several examples long back. Before we switched to Suryakranta, when we were using Jagannath Hainamsa, we found some interesting correlations like that. So if you see that here, Saturn, if you go to how you can do that is, go to the mundane chart in current chart. Make a chart for now. If it is the Prashna chart that we had, go to the mundane tab. And in that there will be a stationary transit mode button. Under it, click Saturn. You can select Saturn, Jupiter, but I know that around the time when this happened, Saturn was stationary. So I'm selecting Saturn to see if there is anything interesting. And select before. Basically before the current day, when was Saturn stationary and where? So the date is June 25, right?
Yes, sir.
Early morning. So at the end of June, Saturn was stationary. So the thing is, when a planet is stationary, if you take like 3 weeks before or 3 weeks after, planet will be going at a particular speed forward or backward. In this case, he was actually going backward. And then he slows down.
I didn't get the June 25th.
25th. Stationary transit mode and select Saturn and before.
Yeah, I did.
In the current chart, not in the birth chart.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me check. Yeah?
No, this is the...
So you made a chart for August 20 today. Okay? So select this. June 21st. Did you click there?
Yeah.
Yeah,
June
June
24th.
24th. Yeah.
June 12th.
Oh no. Something is okay.
Planetary transit mode होता है.
Oh, 12% faster. I see.
Sorry, okay. Now we can continue.
Yeah.
Now it's 20.
I have to figure out the mystery later. Something is here. Okay. June 25, 2012. Then basically what was happening was, until then, Saturn was going backwards. Slowly he was going backwards. And then his normal speed even forward is very slow. And when he is retrograde, it will be even slower. And when he is becoming stationary, he is going slow, and then he slows down. And then he stops. He comes to zero. And then he starts moving forward slowly and then catches up speed. So what happens is, a few weeks before the retrogression ends, and for a few weeks after the retrogression ends and he becomes direct. During that time, it's almost as though he is at the same longitude, he is stationary, right? He is very, very still. So when a planet is really still, especially the slow-moving planets like Jupiter and Saturn, it's like they can focus well. They can see wherever they are seeing. It's not like you are going in a car and you are seeing something, you don't really act on it, you don't care. You are just observing and moving on. Suppose you are still and you see something, you can act on it. So the theory being, if a planet is aspecting or conjoining a particular natal position during such a transit, it will give the results relating to that point. It will basically trigger it, activate it. So we see this is one of the most reliable principles in terms of, in other words, you may not be able to predict every life event using stationary transit, because not every life event happens close to them. But if you see some really interesting transit around a stationary transit, an important position really aspected or conjoined, you can expect some important event relating to that. So here, the longitude of Saturn when he was stationary was 2844 in Virgo. Right? 2844 in Virgo. Basically around 29 degrees in Virgo. And if you see the natal Rashi chart and Trimshamsa chart, are there any positions aspected or conjoined? See, in the Rashi chart there is nothing interesting, right? I mean, there are a bunch of planets in Pisces, the Marakas, 8th Lord, 7th Lord, but none of them is close to 28 degrees. By the way, when I say close aspect, I don't mean like 10 degrees or 8 degrees or something like that. Within a couple of degrees, 3 degrees, maximum 4 degrees. So if it is really, really close, then you can say that something important is going to happen in life then. So here, Rashi nothing interesting, but look at D30 now. In D30, do you see anybody aspected or conjoined by Saturn? There is one interesting one. where is Mars, the 6th Lord and the 11th Lord, basically the functional malefic and also 6th Lord of disease.
27 degrees Pisces, sir.
27 degrees 36 minutes Pisces.
And you 26 Virgo, sir.
28 Virgo.
28 Virgo.
So he is basically within a couple of degrees, within a degree and a half, less than degree and a half. So Saturn is aspecting the natal Mars. And Saturn, by the way, is the natal 8th Lord. So natal 8th Lord is stationary and aspecting the natal 6th Lord very closely. Not only that, he is aspecting the Lagna too. Of course, we can't take this Lagna to be accurate. The Lagna we get here is 29 degrees Gemini. It may be plus minus something. But the thing is, if it is in the neighborhood, if it is, let's say, between 25 and 30, then the thing is 28 degrees can be bad. So he has a 10th aspect on the Lagna also. So Saturn has a 10th aspect on the Lagna and very close 7th aspect on the 6th Lord. So that way, this particular stationary transit of Saturn is not really good. So around June time frame, you can expect some June-July time frame, you can expect some bad events relating to health. So this is the other thing. So overall, Saturn is a key planet. And the thing is, one more thing, we usually don't do this here because we are in a isolated room where nobody comes or no signs are given by nature. But the thing is, when I said, okay, let's see what else. I was thinking of transit, nimitta basically. There was a nimitta. That's when I said, let's look at the D30, and then we opened the D30, and then I was thinking, maybe I should look at some special gocharas like the planetary conjunctions, stationary transits, etc. that we used to do. Just when I thought of it, there was a dog. A dog was crying from there, from that direction. So the thing is, the dogs are represented by Saturn. So there is a nimitta saying there is some problem with Saturn. Look for Saturn. That is why I saw when Saturn. I knew that in the June time frame Saturn became stationary. So because I keep track of when Jupiter and Saturn become stationary. So I know that Saturn becomes stationary, and I had the nimitta of dog. And then he said 60 plus days he's been in coma. So around June, basically, mid-June or around that time he went to coma. So that basically is around the time Saturn became stationary, and the dog, when I was thinking all this dog bark, then I saw, okay, let's look at the longitude. It has to be close to some important longitude in the natal Rasi or natal Punchamsha chart. Okay. So any other comments, observations? Anything else you want to add? Okay. So convey the message to Seshu that things don't look good for a while, and there is some hope in the second half of next year. Second half of 2013, there is a hope of coming out, and our expectation is that this is not basically fatal. We expect that he will come out of this, but it will take a long time. Probably the second half of next year, mid next year, or second half of next year. But there is no danger to death, danger to life. And then Mrityunjay mantra is obviously good in situations like this. And in addition, Jupiter mantra, Brahaspati Adedaryo, is a good mantra to do homam or do japam with it. So that is one thing. And the other thing is either Namakam, Rudra Namakam, or Rudra Chamakam, or Hanuman Chalisa. So something for Rudra, to give some to alleviate the 7.5 years of Saturn, especially Chandra Shani right now. And he hasn't approached the moon yet. He is still approaching moon. In a while, he will actually come very close to moon. If you look at the stationary transits, if you look at Saturn, when he becomes stationary again, select after, it should be February 18 and it will be 17 degree in Libra. Saturn will become stationary again at 17 degree Libra. And if you look at the Rashi longitude.
Moon's longitude in Rashi.
Yeah, Moon's longitude in Rashi is
13 Libra.
14 degree Libra.
So
and even if you take the Moon of D30, he's at 20 degree Sagittarius. So Saturn, when he becomes stationary at around 17-18 degrees, in the 17.5 degree in Saturn, 17.5 degree in Libra, within 2.5 degrees he will be aspecting the natal Moon of D30. So aspecting the natal D30 Moon as well as natal Rashi Moon, it is not really a great Gochara. So overall, my feeling is there is some passion left still. So keep doing some sadhana.
How do we see that he is in coma?
I don't know how you can see that, honestly. All we can see in the Rashi chart, you see some Marka influence. You see, it is not good. But the thing is, when we saw D30, we saw some really bad.
D30, the moon is really hammered.
The Dashalad is really hammered by Rahu, Ketu, Shani. But the thing is, could it be going mad? In the other cases where we saw, the moon is affected by nodes, the person either, the person can be artistic, or person can have learning abilities, that is one possibility. The other is he can become suicidal or have mental problems during that time. We have seen some charts where people became mentally disturbed during such dashas. So that is a possibility. Why coma? I don't really know how we can. Unless you have like 10-15 coma charts and try to do some correlation.
No, that's only curious. If he didn't know about this, and he's in coma.
I'm not sure. I don't think, had they come to us like at the beginning of this year, I wouldn't have told them that your son will go to coma, but I could have probably told them this is not a good period. There can be some mental disturbances. He may, if he's not doing well in school or something, he may become depressed or all those things, or violent. See, Moon is with Rahu Ketu, so Shani can give depression, Rahu Ketu can give violent and aggressive attitude and basically unpredictable behavior. But there is some problem, there is some mental problem. So do some remedies. That I could have said. And also if I saw like Saturn was becoming stationary and aspecting the 6th lord, I could have said maybe some accident or
that's
the
what
6th lord can be accident. Some accident or some
he's gone into it due to something or some accident or something happened.
We don't know. We don't know exactly what it is. But I would have maybe guessed an accident or serious health problems, mental problems, depression. All these things I would have been able to guess. But coma, I don't think. We think in those terms. Okay. Any other comments? Any other points, observations, remedies?
You will be conveying to them. He gave the number to convey to that Lata or somebody.
You can call them up.
The number is there,
Right. Okay. I leave it to you guys.
You will also save the Gochara chart also along with this? Or?
I didn't save.
Okay. But if you wanted to, we can draw it because of the you taped it.
I taped the time. But we can save. Actually, good idea. It never occurred to me. I've never been saving the Prasna charts. I'll save Prasna also.
Somebody will go through it tape and they will. I don't know whether they cap the time or not. Gochara, when they do it at the time, it will be different.
Actually, from now onwards, we can save the Prasna charts also. Okay. stop this. Okay, we'll see another chart because we have time. The data is 1981 September 22, 21:30, that is 9:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time, IST 5 hours 30 minutes east of GMT. The place is Rajahmundry, India. Rajahmundry, Rajahmundry, India. The longitude is 81 degrees 47 minutes east. Latitude is 16 degrees 59 minutes north. And the question is relating to immigration. One second. So this person, the events we know is, he came to US for bachelor's degree in computer science in March 2001. And he did bachelor's from 2001 to 2005. And 2005 to 2007 he did master's in, again, computer science. And in August 2007 he joined his first job. And he's a consultant, and he does some administration of servers in a servers company. He works on Oracle DBA servers, database servers, and
He was a consultant.
he was a consultant, and then he became full-time employee in Oracle. Okay, and the other event we have is in April, on April 10, 2010, he got married. So the problem was, just a few days back, his labor got denied, basically for his green card application. Labor got denied. It was filed in January 2012 and denied a few days back. And he's worried about, because he has less than 1 year left for the 6-year window. If his labor doesn't get approved by then, he may have to leave the country. So he's worried about whether he will be able to stay in US or he will have to go back to India. So, and he wants to also know how his career will be. But the main focus is his immigration. How is the immigration status look? Okay, let us make a prashna again. This is for 1942-1, 7:42:1 p.m. 7 hours, 42 minutes, 1 second. Same place, Jacob. Now, so the Lagna is at, one second, let me set this. So the Lagna is at 7 degree Aquarius, 7 degree 41 minutes Aquarius. And see, is there any influence of Jupiter on Lagna? Any influence of Jupiter on Lagna? Yeah, what is it? Well, Jupiter's aspect on Lagna is very little, but Jupiter has aspect on Lagna Lord Rahu. So Jupiter has aspect on Lagna Lord Rahu, and moreover Rahu is the planet of foreign affairs. See, earlier Saturn was the Lagna Lord, and Saturn is the Karaka for diseases, etc. And Saturn was very closely conjoined Mars, the Palaka Mars. Here, if we take Rahu as the Lagna Lord instead of Saturn now, the sign has changed. This Aquarius also has Saturn as Lagna, but if you take Rahu, he is basically the Karaka for immigration. He is in Scorpio as Jaldasi, and Jupiter is affecting him. So, because of Jupiter's aspect and the question being relating to immigration, probably we will get an answer. There is a positive indication in the prashna. So we will continue to see the chart. So, okay. So the Lagna is 8 degrees 17 minutes Taurus. And let's see the events that we already know. First go to Chaturthamsha. 2001, right?
2005, sir.
No, when he came to US.
2005.
2001. Oh, 2005. I see. I got it wrong.
Did his bachelor's in India?
Bachelor's in India. Oh, I thought he did bachelor's. I got noted it wrong.
But he was out from his parents' home then too. So he did it in Madras and
That's okay. So came to US for masters in mid 2005.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So he came to US in mid 2005. What is the dasha? First look at the Rashi Vimshottari dasha. Based on Rashi Vimshottari Dasha, 2005 Mercury Dasha started. Okay? Mercury Dasha started in 2005. And how is Mercury?
So, fifth lord.
He is in Vargotama. He is the fifth lord. And he is also the dispositor of ninth lord. And he is in the 6th house and aspecting the 12th house. And he is with Venus. So, 5th Lord and Lagna Lord are together. He is giving Rajoga. Basically, it's a good Dasha. But why he took him abroad? Well, from the Pakalagna, he is the 9th and 12th Lord. We said earlier that from Pakalagna is also important for seeing the foreign journeys. So, from Pakalagna, which is Libra, Mercury is the 9th and 12th Lord in Pakalagna. Now, if you see the Chatuthamsha, the D4, how is the D4 Vimshottari Dasha?
Venus, sir. Venus, Saturn.
So he came abroad during Venus-Saturn period.
Yeah. Venus is in the Badhakasthana and Saturn is
Do they show? Venus is in Badhakasthana, not only the 9th house. He is in the 9th house. So Venus is in the 9th house, Badhakasthana. And what about Saturn?
He is the 7th lord in the
He is the 7th lord. And moreover, from the Dasha lord Venus, he is the Badhaka lord and he is in the 12th house. So that also is conducive. So during that period he came abroad. But the thing is, how is the period right now? And let's quickly see the marriage also. Actually, how much leeway do we have in Chatuthamsha? Because that's all we need for this prediction. 3 minutes earlier, the D4 Lagna will change. Okay? 3 minutes earlier, because it's 8:17 Taurus. 7.5 it will change. So, let us see Navamsha. Just to get some confidence. He got married in 2010, right?
Yes, sir. Mercury.
2010 April. So based on D9 Vimshottari, 2009, was it April?
2010 April.
2010 April. So 2010 April is again Mercury. Mercury gave the marriage. Does it make sense?
7th lord.
He is the 7th lord.
In the 8th house.
In the Navamsha, he is the 7th lord in the 8th house. So he is the 7th lord and from Lagna as well as from Venus. So he can give marriage. So on the other hand, if Lagna is backwards, see, actually Navamsha changes 6 minutes back. Chatuthamsha changes faster. So if you know that Navamsha is right, it doesn't mean D4 is right. But we'll see, if Navamsha is wrong, we explain it much better by moving to the previous time, let us say. Then D4 is definitely backwards. So we'll see if previous time makes any sense. If you take the Aquarius Lagna in Navamsha, then the thing is, does Mercury explain the marriage? Not exactly, because Mercury is the
8th lord in the 9th
6th and 8th lord in the 9th house. He doesn't really show marriage. On the other hand, if you take Lagna to be Aquarius, Mercury makes much better sense. Sorry, Pisces. Mercury makes more sense. So probably this time is right. It's not off by more than 6 minutes. But D4 could basically be previous sign also. So let's go back to the event of going abroad. So D4 Vimshottari switch back. D4 Vimshottari. So if the Lagna was before 7.5 degree, then the D4 Lagna instead of being Leo would have been
2, 3, 4,
Taurus. So does Taurus explain things better? Move in the Venus period. Yeah.
The Lagna Lord being in the 12th house.
He will be the Lagna Lord, but he will be in the 12th house. Venus is Lagna Lord, but he is in the 12th house. Instead of a functional male figure, 3rd and 10th Lord being in the 9th house, Badhakasthana, giving move to foreign countries, the Lagna Lord but still being in the 12th house, giving move to the foreign countries, makes a little better sense. And if you look at the Antardasha, Saturn is the 7th Lord in the 8th house, with the Leo Lagna. Compared to that, if Saturn is the 9th Lord, aspecting Lagna, it makes a little better sense. Bottom line is we can explain with either Lagna, but Taurus seems a little better. Now, we will take the other event that we know. What is it? Right now there is a lot of tension related to immigration. Whether he will stay in US or not. Which one will explain that better? What is the Dasha running right now? See, Venus is over now.
Sun,
Sun Dasha is running.
Earlier it was the Lagna Lord.
Yeah. Earlier, so Lagna Lord in the second house, his Dasha was running. And now it is, if you take the Taurus,
Fourth Lord in the fifth house.
it is the fourth Lord in the fifth house and his Dasha is running. So which one will explain lot of tensions relating to his residence, whether I will stay where I am or whether I will be deported, that kind of tensions. Which one will show better?
So, fourth Lord in the fifth house should never explain a problem with his location, sir.
Yeah.
With his stay wherever he is. Because fourth Lord in the fifth house means a good or a better prospect is coming.
Yeah.
In that period, he'll be much better off.
Basically, he is well placed. Quadrant Lord in a trine is well
Well
placed.
placed.
Now the evil thing is the Sun has Saturn aspect, right? Sun has an aspect from Saturn.
Yes.
But again, Saturn is the ninth Lord. So fourth Lord in the fifth house aspected by ninth Lord is not really
a bad
thing.
Right.
So it doesn't really show a lot of tension. Whereas this particular thing, labor getting denied and having an existential threat to his stay in this country, not being sure of your future, that's a serious concern. And that doesn't really get explained by Sun, the fourth Lord in the fifth, aspected by ninth Lord Saturn. On the other hand, if Sun was Lagna Lord, if Lagna was Leo, Lagna Lord is in second house, a Markasthana, so basically he is not very well placed. It's not a good placement for him. And the sixth and sixth Lord Saturn and 12th Lord Moon are aspecting him. So two functional malefics are aspecting the Lagna Lord, and they are in the 8th house of tension. See, Shanichandra Yoga in the 8th house is a combination for tension and depression and anxiety, right? The Saturn and Moon combination, in general Saturn Moon combination is a bad thing. It shows mental worries in that area of life, D4 area of life. If it particularly happens instead of the 11th house, it happens in the 8th house, it shows more anxiety.
Sudden things happen.
It can show sudden things also, absolutely. So sudden things and anxiety, depression, sadness, and that combination, that too involving the 6th and 12th laws, two bad malefic planets. Their aspect on Lagna Lord is a Duryoga. It's not a good combination. It's not a Rajoga. It's the opposite of Rajoga. So then, that because of the Duryoga, as soon as Sandasha started, or within a couple of years, basically, in this case, basically, after Sun started, this happened within a year and a half. So during this period, having some worries and tensions this is a possibility. So overall, my feeling is, compared to the Taurus Lagna, Leo Lagna explains the things better. Even though both explain coming to US in 2005, the current tensions are far better explained by the Leo Lagna. So on balance, looking at both the events, we will accept this time. So in other words, the Lagna is not off by more than, time is not off by more than 3 minutes.
You can also look at D10 to determine.
Yeah, we can. Actually, we can't, because this is 817, and the border we have is 7.5. So we want to know whether it's between 7.5 and 817 or below 7.5 and between 640 and 7.5. Because we know that it's above 640 because of Navamsha. So is it between 640 Lagna degree? Is it between 640 and 7.5 or between 7.5 and 817? That because 6 to 9, all those 3 degrees are the same in the Dashamsha. So Dashamsha doesn't help. What will help is another chart that has a variation is 7.5, which is basically like 2.5, so that is D12, D24.
D24, okay.
We can look at D24, by the way. D24 we will shortly see. But D12, if you know anything about parents, that will really help. So let's go to D24 now.
So did you change the time?
No, not yet. So far, the given time makes more sense than going below 7.5 degrees. D24. Now again, 3 minutes 1 second earlier it will change, or 1 minute 51 seconds later it will change. So same border we are talking about, right? So 7.5 to what is the amount? See, the length of D24 is 30 divided by 24. So that is 1 1/4.
1/4.
So 7.5 to 8:45. 7.5 to 8:45. Here we have 8:17. So this is almost at the middle, not exactly at the middle. Out of 1 minute, 1 degree, 1.25 degree, this is at 0.75 one side and half one side. So this is really at the middle. So that is why you have 3 minute leeway on one side and 2 minute leeway on the other side. Okay. So let us see if this Lagna makes more sense, or the next one or the before one. Next one also is possible, but the thing is, it's only an academic exercise, because if it is the next one, that doesn't change D4, right? But if it is before one, if it is instead of Sagittarius, Capricorn, if the D24 Lagna is Sagittarius, if that makes better sense to explain the education, then the D4 Lagna will have to change to Taurus. But then the current tension doesn't make sense, but who knows, this may be just a couple of weeks, like suddenly things may work out and then life may say, no, this is stupid, there was so mistake, let's just redo this, right. And his tension may go away. You understand what I am saying? So instead of giving too much importance to one event to rectify, let us confirm from D24, something more tangible. Okay. So we know that his bachelor's and master's are both in computer science. With the Lagna in Capricorn, the 9th house is
ruled by Mercury.
Virgo with Saturn and Mercury. And exalted Mercury that really dominates. That can show computers, clearly computer science. On the other hand, if you take the 2nd house for masters, Saturn is empty. And its Lord Saturn is with Mercury in a Mercurian sign, with exalted Mercury. Again, Mercury has an influence on the 2nd house. So both the 9th house and 2nd house have an influence of exalted Mercury, and moreover in this D24, Mercury is a clearly dominant planet. Okay, and he has a link with 9th and 2nd. So computer science education makes perfect sense with this. If you take Sagittarius Lagna, how are things then?
Sun becomes the Lord.
9th Lord is Sun. 9th is empty. There is no serious aspect on it. Right?
Yes, sir.
And its Lord Sun is in 12th house, in Scorpio. So the education is shown by the Scorpio or Sun, and that can show a lot of things, physics or academic, management, administration, political sciences, political studies, that kind of things. It doesn't really explain computer science that much. And if you take the 2nd house, well, that could be computer science, because Saturn is, now 2nd house has Jupiter influence also. But its Lord Saturn is with exalted Mercury, so computer science masters is possible, but bachelor's in computer science doesn't really make a lot of sense. So overall, without changing it back by 3 minutes 1 second, keeping it as is, or within 3 minutes from it, makes more sense in both D24 as well as D4. So my feeling is that this time is basically reasonably accurate. We'll take the time as is. We don't need to rectify it. So now the prediction. D4. Yes. D4. How is the current period? We saw that it is Sun period, and Sun is under bad influences. That is all fine, right? But are there any, what else?
Sun Rahu is running, sir.
Yeah?
And it started in March.
Sun Rahu is running, yeah?
That's when his audit came through, end of Jan.
Yeah?
Right. Rahu is once again the 7th Lord here in the 12th house.
Yeah.
And it's fundamentally Sun Rahu, so I basically said there is a lot of confusion going on and a lot of tension.
Yeah. So Sun Rahu is running now. And Rahu is, okay. From Sun, Rahu is the 6th Lord. So from Dasha Lord, Rahu is the 6th Lord. So you can give 6th house results, which is litigation, quarrels, etc., relating to his stay in this country. And then Sun Jupiter will come.
Yeah. Where I wanted to ask, Jupiter is aspecting the 5th house.
Yeah.
From Lagna.
Yeah.
And
that can show rehabilitation to his motherland.
This is the Lagna Lord period once again.
And Lagna Lord is also conducive to going back to the motherland rather than staying abroad.
And Jupiter is actually aspecting his Arudha Lagna, his 5th house in which his year was there.
Yeah.
So with all this,
right.
Back in my mind, I just thought, at least with Jupiter...
And Rahu, if you take Rahu, the current and the he is at least in the 12th house. He is the 7th Lord in the 12th house. So basically this shows mind focused on foreign stay and making sure that you stay abroad for a long time. And he is doing all this activity. But the thing is, from Dasha Lord, he is the 6th Lord in the 11th house. So he is not really showing a lot of success there. And when it comes to Jupiter, he is not really, the only thing is, from the Dasha Lord, he is the 7th Lord.
Yeah, he is 7th Lord.
That's the only factor conducive, but otherwise he doesn't really show getting a green card or his stay in the other country becoming more permanent. it actually shows it is more conducive to Lagna Lord Dasha and 5th Lord Antardasha, and them being in mutual coordinates from each other. This is basically more conducive if the decision comes during that period. Unfortunately, it may, because this is the time period when the 6-year window will expire. So from January, February 2013 to November 2013 is Sun Jupiter Antardasha. This is not conducive to getting your green card or getting your labor cleared and celebrating your extended stay in a foreign country. This is a period of going back to the motherland. So honestly, the only thing is from Sun, Jupiter is a friend and Ajmitra, and he's in a quadrant from the Dasha Lord. So it doesn't seem like it will happen with a lot of sadness. He may be depressed now, but it may not. It may not be seen as a very negative moment. He may get we'll see the Dashamsa also, but he may get a good opportunity and he may happily move back to India or something like that. So let's look at the D10.
Where I thought was Jupiter being also the Karaka of lawyers and people who are learned in that period. I said because Rahu is in right now, there's a lot of confusion going on and him not trusting a lot of people and he's not getting the trust of others too. I said with Jupiter coming in, you might have...
that is a possibility, but the bottom line is, he's not really showing... He's the 5th Lord aspecting 5th in the end. He's also the 8th Lord. 8th Lord basically showing some change. So overall, I mean, bottom line is, we identify with people who come to us and we want good results for them. So we basically don't try to give bad results. We know what they want, so we try to find a way to get that result. We find a way to get that result and then we convince ourselves and then we tell them. This is what we try to do normally. But the thing is, if you are honest and assuming all the calculations are right and data is right, it seems right. If you were to unemotionally and detachedly, without any attachment to the person, predict, you will basically, Sun Jupiter, you won't predict the stay in a foreign country being made permanent. You rather expect going back to the motherland. That is what you expect. Let's look at D10.
I just stopped my prediction right there and I told him I don't want to comment, I'll ask my...
Okay. Let's look at D10. Just give me a break. So, we look at the Dashamsa. The Dashamsa his career so far is in computers, right?
Yes, sir.
Does it explain? Does the Dashamsa explain that?
Sir, should we take Vimsotri or should we take
We can take either, but first see the chart natally, statically, without the Dasha. Okay. And then we can see whichever Dasha. Basically, is the 10th Lord in the 10th house, Jupiter, clearly? Yeah, he is clearly in the 10th house. So we can take Chaturasiti, but let's see that statically, why is he in computer science? I mean, T24 we see, but in D10, why is his career in computer science?
It's like an administration kind of, he gets calls like from different people,
yeah.
BA server edana padtene.
Yeah. Hello? Namaskaram andi. అయిపోతుంది క్లాస్, నేను ఒక 5 minutes వస్తాను, లేదా మీరు లోపలికి రావచ్చు యాక్చువల్లీ. నేనైతే I'll pick up your son in a few minutes. ఓకేనండి. Take somebody to my son's friend. He's coming for a sleepover. They live in New Hampshire. They're dropping in here, so I'll be taking with me. Okay. So they're outside. So we'll wrap up in a couple of minutes. So if you take the 2nd house, 6th house and 8th house, these are the major influences, right? If you see the 2nd house, it is empty. If Lord is in a Mercurian sign and he is aspecting it, and Mercury is aspecting it, right? So that is one. So there is influence on the 2nd house from Mercury. So that is one factor. The other one is the 6th Lord, 6th is empty, and the 6th Lord Sun is in Gemini. He is in again a Mercurian sign, but there is an influence of Mercury on the 2nd Lord and 6th Lord, and he is aspecting the 2nd himself. And if you take the 10th house, Jupiter is innate, and Jupiter is very strong. So honestly, I would have expected a career relating to Jupiter, But the thing is, so far it seems like he's getting a career relating to Mercury. So, Mercury some kind of career. So this is basically database administration, computer science, etc. And if you look at the dasha, see the Chaturthi Samadasha of D10. See the Chaturthi Samadasha of D10, he is running. See, in Sandasha this career started. So this database administration job started in the Sandasha, and right now he is running Moon Dasha.
Yeah.
And Moon is the fifth lord in the Lagna. So this is actually a very good Dasha. For career, this is a very good Dasha. So I won't really worry about any setbacks in the career, even though Moon is with Venus. When Venus Antardasha comes in 2017, 16, 17, he has to be a little careful. But otherwise, overall, even then, Moon-Venus combination in Lagna is actually a very fortunate combination, even though Venus is 8th lord. So there may be some unexpected gains in career then. But there is also a possibility of setback. So that is the only period I will be concerned about. But overall, Moon period looks good to me. So I think he will have a good career. The only thing is, when Jupiter Antardasha comes in Moon Dasha, which is 2014, 2015, 2016 time frame, it is possible for him to consider an alternative career, like teaching computer science. Jupiter can show teacher, lawyer, this kind of careers. And Jupiter being in the 10th house, he can show teaching computer science or teaching computer administration, teaching network administration. So whatever skills he developed here, teaching at some computer institutes in India or universities in India, is a possibility. So this is something that he should consider. That may be a better career for him than what he is doing. Because Jupiter is really, really strong. And if you go into a career indicated by such a strong planet, you are more likely to do well and also be happy. So overall, what I will say is, it doesn't look good immigration wise. He may have to go back after Jupiter Antardasha comes next year. Jupiter Antardasha comes in D4, Jyothishya next year. He may have to go back. And in 2014, 15, 16 time frame, a change of line is a possibility. And in general, teaching is a better profession for him than working as a database administrator. So he may consider it. But whatever he does, whichever career he does, the fact that Lagna Lord and 10th Lord Jupiter is in 10th house in Mula Trikona, and the fact that Lagna contains Moon and Venus, and there is Gajyasri Yoga involving Lagna, 5th Lord, Lagna Lord. So this is a powerful D10 chart, even though there are some negative combinations. Overall, this is a very powerful D10 chart. So he will be very successful. He doesn't have to worry. He will have a good career and nothing to worry. Moon Dasha, after that Mars Dasha is also good. So Dashamsha wise, the Dasha for a couple of decades, he is all set basically. He has good Dasha. So don't think that if you have to leave US and go back to India, that's the end of your career. You will have a great career. Okay? And any proficiency he can do well. As far as immigration is concerned, if you see the Chaturthansha chart, see in the Rashi chart, Mars is the 12th lord. In the Chaturthansha lord, Mars is the 9th lord. So, and he is exalted, and he is with Rahu Ketu, he is affecting 12th house. So I will suggest Subramanya. Worshipping Subramanya, I'm not looking at Dashas etc. here, just statically looking at the Rashi and Chaturthansha. Worshipping Subramanya may be a good idea, but in general, overall, I'm not very comfortable with the notion that some remedy he may actually stay here. My feeling is that he'll probably just go back. So, good luck to him. Okay, with that I will.
Thank you.